Hey guys, what's up? So regarding the last post I did last week, a lot of people asked me about how I did this scene, so I decided to record a video to explain a little bit about my workflow. So today we are going to create this scene, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so first, as you can see, I have this little guy over here and this armchair. This helps me to create this sense of scale of my scene. So every time I open a scene, I have this guy to help me with it. Okay. Okay, so let's create plane. I'll place it on the 0 axis. Okay, just 0. Perfect. And this will be our pool. So I'll increase it to the right side a little bit more. Okay, so extend it as well, this part as well. Okay. So let's extrude this part to be the wooden part. So in the middle will be the pool, the water, and these two sides will be the wooden part. Okay. I rotate my camera. Always, like, actually, every time I start a scene, this is something that I always start doing, because I believe it's very important for me, and maybe it can help you guys as well, but it helps me to understand how to frame my scene and also how to compose the elements that will be placed in this image. So it helps me to not overdo. Like, sometimes if I don't have it, I start modeling a lot of things. So this helps me to be focused on what I need to model. Okay. So let's extrude this part that will be our pool. Okay, something like this. Perfect. So I always place this guy to have this sense of scale, so it's very important for me. So let's frame this camera. Just move it to the left a little bit. Okay, so I will turn on the rule of thirds. It's very important. Somewhere over here. There may be viewport display. Yeah. So composition guides and turn thirds on. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, it's turned it on. So now I think the next thing we're going to do is create a box to create this this guy over here, this concrete part. It's a very simple element. As you can see, it's kind of a box, a rectangular box. Rectangular. It's not rectangular. Can't be a rectangular box. It's a rectangular model. So let's do that. Let's create a box, cube. I always say box because I'm used to work with 3ds Max, so over there we say like let's create a box. So okay, so I'll place it over here. Yeah, scale it down. Okay, let's place it something like that. Okay, so I will adjust this element to be similar to the one I have created before. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's put this edge loop and extrude this part. Okay. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Like very, very easy. Okay, so the next thing to do is add this modifier bevel. So it's very important to add bevels to your models in real life. Like most of the objects have bevel, so it's very important like do it for all your object. Okay, so yeah, was something like that. Okay, so let's put the gizmo to the center of the object, yeah, like this, and add the RI modifier. Okay, so here, okay, the factor X put 0 and the Y you put 1. Oh, 1 or, yeah, actually -1. Okay, so just place it at the beginning of this pool. And okay, so let's increase the count. Put a number, I don't know, 14, 16, 15, 16, maybe 15. Yeah, 15, I think it's good. Something is wrong with the normals of this object, so I'll put this weighted normal. Okay, this modifier. It helps to remove these odd things. So okay, I increase this guy, okay, to just fit the entire pool. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it's enough. So the next thing I'm going to do is duplicate it. Okay, so let's rotate it 180 degrees with something. I don't know, I'm not very familiar with Blender yet, sometimes I think. Okay, something like that. Perfect, just let's place it on the other side. Okay, and duplicate it, and let's place it at the beginning of this pool. Okay, something like that. Don't need to be perfect. This part like won't be visible, so but do your best. Always do your best. Okay, let's decrease this count, and maybe I think it's enough. I just decrease the size of this guy so it can fit this entire part. I did something wrong. Okay, yeah, here. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I don't think we can like duplicate it to the other part because it won't be visible. So I think it's okay. Just do this part. This is, as I said, like when I place my camera, like I just like model things that will be visible like to the image. So I always like to do this these things, trying to frame my image while I'm still modeling things. And so I think this pool is too big. It doesn't need to be that big, so let's tighten it a little bit. Okay, this part as well. It's good to have the reference to like on your side, because it helps you to like be guided on what you're doing, what you're modeling. So okay, so let's place this guy back here, and this one as well. Okay, I think it's something like that. Okay, let's turn off this grid and floor. And okay. Oh, maybe, yeah, the axes as well. X and Y. Yeah, perfect. Just to be more like clear, the left side. Okay, so this part let's decrease it again and fit it on the beginning of this pool. Okay, you can just scale it down a little bit. Scale it down, yeah, okay. Perfect. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is duplicate this guy and place it exactly how the chase are placed on my image. So it's just, again, to have actually this sense of scale and also composition. So it helps me to understand and think and see things that sometimes I can't see when I just like modeling without these guys. These guys like help me a lot. So okay, so duplicate like on the other side as well. So okay, I think it's pretty good. So let's create the water. So I pick this part and duplicate it to something like that, and P to separate it. Okay, so this is the water, and I will apply the all transform for all these guys. Okay, it's important to do that. Okay, so we'll apply a solidify to have this thickness on the water, and just be careful, it needs to be very thin, otherwise the refraction can be wrong. Okay, so yeah, something like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is texturing. So, but I believe first we start texturing, I will place this chase. So this one, I won't model it right now because otherwise the video will be very long. So I have it on my library. Okay, so I use Connector. This tool is very powerful, so I really recommend you guys download it. And this is how I organize my library, and it's pretty simple actually, just like drag and drop, and that's it. Okay, so I do it using this chase I have already modeled, so this one. Okay, just as I said, drag and drop, and yeah, that's it. Okay, the reason I'm using Connector is because I found a way to use Octane, and it became very easy to like handle and manage everything. So I really recommend, guys, download it. Okay, so now I'm going to compare the scale of this object to the guy on the side, on the left side. Okay, so it looks a little bit small, so I increase scale it up a little bit. And as I said, I'm always like moving this guy around, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Just try to lay it down to see if like the scale is right. Okay, yeah, maybe the chase is like too big, I think. Yeah, it's too big. Okay, so let's just Ctrl Z and scale it down just a bit. Okay, and let's do it again. Let's see. It's funny, but yeah, this is the way like I do things, and I think if you can do it as well, it will help you guys on your image. Okay, so I'll delete all these ones and just left that one. Okay, so now let's duplicate all these chase, and they need to be exactly, not exactly, but very similar to the image on the right side. Okay, so just duplicate it. Just this chase, it's very simple actually to model. I didn't want to model it because can't, like, every model you do like takes time, so but you can do it very easy, and there are a lot of chase over there that's like easier than this one, so give a try. Okay, so yeah, I think we have something very similar to the image, the reference image. Okay, very nice. Yeah, it looks very nice. Let's create the background. Okay, so you create this plane, rotate it on the y-axis, I think. Okay. No, sorry. Again, sorry about that. As I said, sometimes I have this 3ds Max in my mind, so for some reason like I use shortcuts from 3ds Max. Okay, let's increase the size of this plane to fill up the entire background. Okay, something like that. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. So as you can see, the background is just a plane. I didn't model anything. Okay, otherwise if I had to model it, it probably would take too much time. Okay, so now let's import the trees, and I will import one FBX, and I will show how I like place the textures in it. And the other trees, they are all of them are they are already textured. So I will texture one first, and the other ones I think I don't have reason to do that, otherwise you'll be like texturing forever. So I have already like modeled it, and then I will just place it from my library. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is go to the shader editor, and I will actually place a daylight system, okay, just to have some lighting on our scene. Okay, the shades are missing the texture, so we'll take care of that in a second. Okay, so just let me see my camera if everything is all right. Okay, exposure. At the end of this video, I will show the entire setup of my camera. Okay, so I will go to the external data and find missing files. Okay, so I already have my texture folder. I just put it on it, and yeah. Sometimes I have like to turn off and turn on the render preview, and then it works. Okay, so go to the kernel, and let's see what we have here. Before we start playing with lighting, I have this background, and this background is casting shadows. So I have to turn off shadows from this plane. Okay, so go to the Octane settings and turn off shadow visibility. Okay, it's important. I'm going to show you what happened when I do that. Okay, something like that, and turn on and turn off, and you can see that the plane is casting shadows, so it's important that you turn off it. Okay. Okay. The lighting, it's pretty good. It's not bad. You always have to match the lighting with your background. It's very important. Otherwise, you can ruin your scene, and yeah, it will be a disaster. Okay, so let's start texturing. So the first thing I'm going to do is identify where are the objects and put colors on it. Okay, so it helps me to know where is everything. Okay, so for example, this one I put red and there was nothing there. So this one, leaf tree. Okay, so this one is someone that I will use. This other one is empty. Okay, let's delete it. This other one is put blue. Okay, so let's keep it. The other one, red. Yeah, it's the brains, I think. Let's keep it. And the other one, can't see it. Okay, it's the coconuts, I think. Yeah. And this one is, it's empty, I believe. Yeah, so let's delete it. So the next one is it's empty as well. Let's delete it. Okay, so last one, no, it's not the last one, but okay, it's like empty, and the last one is this one, and probably, okay, so it's this part. Perfect. So we have identified our object. So let's start texturing. I go to my folder textures. Where is it? Just a second. Okay, it's here. So I have these guys that they are like the textures of this tree. Okay, so the first one is the leaf. So let's import it and plug it on the albedo and the transmission as well. Okay, just let me see. I think this transmission guy is the same one. I was probably other one. It's a little bit strange. Okay, so let's use this two first. I'll just like change it. I'll put this one in the albedo and this one in the transmission. Okay, and sometimes I just play with the gamma to see if it's working. Okay. Yeah, one important thing is change specular to diffuse, so it kind of gives you a better translucence on your object. Okay, so it's not bad. It's not bad. It's okay. So as I said, it's always important like to play with this gamma when you are like working with plants. Okay, so I tried this one just to see how it works. This texture has a variety of colors, so you can see on the tips they are like orange color, so I think it's more natural. Okay, that's better. It's a better one. Okay, so let's see the next one. No, this one, let's just use it because I think this one we can use the same texture, so just place the same thing. This one in the albedo, and maybe I can use like the same one to the transmission. And as these trees are going to be far from the camera, I don't need to put too much effort on it, okay? Okay, next one is going to be the trunk, maybe. Where is it? Okay, here, this one. Okay, so let me see where is the trunk map. Okay, this one, place in the albedo. Yeah, it's for me it's a pain in the ass, because doing all these textures, actually find the textures and place the textures on the right position, it's a pain in the ass, definitely. But yeah, we have to do that, otherwise we cannot create any scene. Okay, so let's put the displacement, texture displacement, just plug everything, and let me use 4K for like this texture, and this guy is 0.5, and the height I've increased a lot. Okay, just to see, and let's keep increasing. Okay, something like that. Maybe it's too much. No, a little bit more. Okay, maybe it's a little bit reflective, so let's decrease the reflection. So roughness maybe. Okay, so the coconuts, I think, is the next one. What is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, this one's the coconut. So I'll place these textures as well. It's pretty simple. Okay, let's just increase the gamma to be a little bit darker. And the glossiness I've inverted, because here we use roughness. Okay, perfect. And this guy that I don't have, I don't know, I don't have an idea like how I call it. So, but this guy, I know that's dark. Just let me find where is it. It's this one, probably. Yeah, okay, this one. Okay, place this trunk map on the albedo and decrease the specular. Okay. And let's plug it on the BAMP as well, okay? Okay, one thing to keep in mind, guys, if the object is far from the camera, you don't need to put too much effort on it, okay? It needs to be good, it needs to look real, but you don't need to like put too much effort on it, because sometimes it won't appear on the render, on the final render, okay? So it needs to be good, needs to be real, okay? So keep it in mind. On the other hand, objects close to the camera, those need to be very, very good, and you have to work more on the shaders and materials, okay? So let's apply the background map, okay? I found this one on Flickr. I think this is the name. This one, I'll show you. Okay, Flickr. Okay, so it's a pretty good one. I always use it. So you can. Mine is in Portuguese, but you can choose commercial license, allow commercial images, and it's quite the same as Google, but I think here you can find like better resolutions as well. Okay, so I use Cancun to a Cancun background to this project. So okay, so yeah, this one is the one I found, and this one is that we are going to use. Okay, so I will just import it. Just have to create the material and then import it. Okay, perfect. So you use a diffuse material, place it on the surface. I'll delete this one and plug it on the diffuse. Yeah, it's like I'm already like feeling on the beach. Okay, so okay, it's not bad. Maybe I will put the camera up a little bit. Okay, looks nice. Okay, so let's apply I think it's black body emission. Yeah, black body emission, and use this map to the texture. Okay, so let's decrease the power. Yeah, 1, maybe more. No, just like play around with these numbers. It's always good. Let me see these guys. Okay, it's okay. Maybe cast shadows. No. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is apply the rest of this texture. So I'm going to use Bridge. It's a really good and powerful tool, and helps me a lot. Okay, so I really recommend use it. It's not very expensive, and it has this API that goes directly to Blender, and it's very useful. Okay, so okay, where is my okay? This is the texture, the wooden one. Just export it, and yeah, it's already done. Just have just to choose the texture. So I will just unwrap this. Actually, separate this part. Actually, P to separate it, and I think I have to unwrap it. Okay, U and unwrap. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the shader editor and let's find where is it. So the name is wooden. This one, MS wooden. I remove this vertex displacement and apply a texture displacement. Okay, plug it on the texture slot. Texture node actually, and let's use 4K and mid-level 0.05. Increase the height, and maybe this texture is a bit big, so let's scale this texture down. 0.1, maybe 0.2, 0.3. No, it's too big. 0, yeah, 0.25. Okay, no, maybe yeah, 0.2 is better. Okay, so the texture is a bit dark, so I will decrease the gamma to light it up. Something like that. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. 1.4. Okay. Yeah, 1.1. This is something I said I always like play around with the numbers, so it's important to do that. The height is a little bit high. Let's decrease it a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Okay, so let's apply the next texture. Go to the bridge, pixel bridge, and select the texture you want, and that's the one I used. So export it. Okay, one thing to keep in mind, if you are using Blender, you have to go to the edit settings and change it to Blender. Okay, you can use other ones if you are not using Blender, but yeah, in this case we are using Blender. Okay, so I will unwrap it. A Smart UV project. New material, and let's find this material. Yeah, rough concrete. Okay. So sometimes you have like to turn off and turn on render, because like Octane has this cache on the engine, and sometimes you have to clear it out. So just like clear it and just turn on render review again. Something went wrong. Okay. Yeah, at the beginning when you like clear the cache, you have to wait a little longer, because it will load all the texture and geometries. So and then after that everything goes smoothly. So okay, let's wait a little bit more. Okay. Okay, now it's done. The texture looks good, the size is okay. Maybe I have to rotate it and maybe light it up, but let's apply everything first, then I light it up. Okay, so let's apply it to the other parts. This one as well. Let's find out what is it. It's rough concrete. Yeah, same thing. I have to apply to that part as well. I have to unwrap it. Okay, UV's Smart UV project, and to this one as well. Same thing, and rough concrete. Okay. Yeah, so as I said, it's I will apply a color correction and try to play around with these numbers here. Saturation, gamma. Yeah, looks good. Okay, let's create the water. I use a specular material to that. Okay, so the roughness put 0 and reflection increase a lot. Okay, not bad. So what's missing is, let me see. Okay, I think I will apply the texture on this guy first. So go to the bridge. I used, let me see, where is it? Surface, and yeah, this one, swimming pool tiles. Okay. So same thing, search for swimming pool. Okay, and here you go. Let's remove this vertex displacement, and I think we don't need to use that. Unwrap these objects. Okay, scale it down a little bit. Yeah, not bad. Let's apply the texture displacement. Maybe it can increase the realism, but I think as this part of the pool, it won't appear like too much in this render because we have the water above it. So okay, so I will apply a gradient texture to the roughness. Try to increase the reflection, the glossiness actually. Can't see too much because the position of the sun is blocking me, it's blocking my vision, and I can't see the reflection using this angle. So maybe I have to disconnect specular. Yeah, here you go. Now I can see it much clearer. Yeah, you can see it on the edges here. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Okay, I will plug it again. And let me see the gamma over here. Yeah. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is activate fake shadows, so I can see through this glass. It's not a glass; it's the water, but I can see through this object. Okay. Let me see. Thin wall. No, won't work. Okay, I will add a noise texture to this material and plug it to the BAMP. Yeah. So definitely it's too much. The first thing you're going to do is scale up this texture. Okay, so I will add a full transform. Connect it to the transform, scale it up. Yeah, 5 maybe is a good number. Yeah, not bad. So let's decrease the gamma. So if I decrease it, you can see that all these waves disappear. So go something between maybe 0.1 and 2. I think it's enough. Okay, let me see the transmission, maybe put a color over here. Try to replicate the same colors we have on the ocean. So guys, there is no cake recipe for making renders. So it's important to play around with colors, numbers, do your best, take your time, because this is how you figure it out best solutions as well. Okay, now I'm going to speed up the video, and this part I will start composing the scene. I will get the rest of the trees from my library and trying to adjust and put it in the same locations I put it before. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Great. So let's take a look at my render settings. So every time I start a new scene, a new Blender file, this is how it comes. I have a Relic set up like that. Okay, so let's increase it. Let's increase this number to 1,500. The max glossy depth, I don't need it that much. 24 is too much for an exterior. GI clamp as well, 5 is too much. Let's put it 1. If I had working with interior, probably I will increase it like to 5 or 10, depends on the scene. Okay, so okay, from this part I think it's okay. And the camera, see what's important. We are going to talk about depth of field very soon. The Octane camera, so the order is I think that's the default. The response type, I'm using sRGB, and I'm not using any Octane post-processing. So basically everything you can see here is the default. Okay, so let's turn off the autofocus and let's play around with the depth of field. Okay, I created this empty axis, so this will help me with the depth of field. Okay, so I have to go to the depth of field area, select the empty, and then increase the aperture. Okay, I put 3. You can see that maybe it's too much, but just to see how it works. So if you move this empty object far from the camera, you can see that the focus of the camera, the depth of field, will always be linked to this object. So if I put this object close to the camera, you can see that the background now is blurred and the foreground is more sharp. So I'll use it in the middle of the scene, something like that, more close to the background. That's the way I used in the image I showed you before. So aperture like 3 is too much. I usually use around like 0.5 to 1, something like that. Okay guys, so this is how I have created this image, and if you have any questions regarding the process or maybe the composition or anything, just leave a message down below. I will be glad to answer all of you. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed it, and see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.